We like to believe we are fully in control of our thoughts, steering our lives with deliberate intent. But a closer look reveals an unsettling truth. Our choices, impulses, and emotions are often dictated by an unseen force within us. It is as if we are passengers rather than drivers, following a pre-programmed route, unaware of the intricate mechanisms directing our path. What we perceive is merely the surface interface of an unimaginably complex system operating beneath the threshold of our consciousness. Failing to understand this system, where it leads us, why it makes certain decisions, and how to override it when necessary, leaves us vulnerable to wandering aimlessly through life. At best, we end up somewhere mundane. At worst, we find ourselves trapped in cycles of self-sabotage, regret, and despair. Few have dared to map the depths of this internal system as thoroughly as Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist whose life's work was dedicated to exploring the hidden forces that shape human thought and behavior. His journey was not just one of academic pursuit, it was a deeply personal descent into the very core of his own psyche, a confrontation with the unknown that nearly broke him, but ultimately transformed him. Born in 1875 in Kesswil, Switzerland, Jung grew up under the influence of his father, Paul Jung, a struggling rural pastor, and his mother, Emily Jung, a woman plagued by depressive episodes and visions of spirits. From an early age, Jung was introverted and deeply introspective, often lost in elaborate fantasies and imaginary worlds. He spent hours observing the adults around him, dissecting their behaviors, sensing the contradictions between their words and actions. School was an unbearable ordeal for him, so much so that he developed a habit of fainting to escape it. But after a stern warning from his father about his future, Jung experienced a radical shift. He immersed himself in his studies, devouring philosophy and religious texts, desperate to understand the nature of existence itself. Rejecting the path of theology, he pursued medicine at the University of Basel and later specialized in psychiatry at the University of Zurich. Under the mentorship of Eugen Bleuler, a renowned psychiatrist, Jung honed his understanding of the human mind. But it was his meeting with Sigmund Freud in 1907 that would propel him into the psychological mainstream. Their first conversation lasted 13 hours, sparking an intense intellectual relationship. For years they worked side by side, analyzing dreams, traveling, and lecturing. Yet their friendship was inherently unbalanced. Freud, older and more established, saw Jung as a protégé rather than an equal. Over time, their perspectives diverged. Freud's rigid, reductionist approach, centered on repressed sexuality, clashed with Jung's broader, more mystical interpretation of the psyche. Their split in 1913 marked a turning point in Jung's life, triggering a profound psychological crisis. For 5 years, Jung found himself consumed by visions, hallucinations, and terrifying encounters with the deepest layers of his unconscious. But instead of resisting, he leaned in. He documented his descent in what would later become the Red Book, a collection of writings and illustrations chronicling his self-experimentation. This dark period nearly destroyed him, but it also solidified his theories and set the foundation for his groundbreaking work on individuation, the process of integrating the disparate elements of the psyche into a unified whole. Jung's model of the psyche divides the mind into 3 layers: consciousness, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Consciousness is what we are immediately aware of, with the ego at its center, crafting the personal narrative that allows us to function in society. The outward projection of this ego is the persona, the social mask we wear to fit into the world's expectations. But beneath this, hidden from view, lies the personal unconscious, a vast reservoir of repressed thoughts, memories, and emotions. Most psychologists of Jung's time stopped here, But Jung took it further, identifying an even deeper layer: the collective unconscious. This is not just a personal repository of forgotten experiences. It is an inherited structure of the psyche, a universal blueprint shared by all of humanity. Within it exist the archetypes, timeless, recurring symbols that shape human thought and behavior across cultures and generations. The hero, the shadow, the wise old man, the anima and animus. These are not just characters in stories. They are reflections of the structures embedded within us, influencing our motivations, fears, and aspirations. But perhaps the most dangerous and ignored aspect of our psyche is the shadow, the dark, unacknowledged parts of ourselves that we refuse to confront. Buried within the shadow is everything we deny, fear, and suppress: our weaknesses, our rage, our shame, our capacity for cruelty. And yet, no amount of avoidance will make it disappear. It lingers, influencing our actions from the depths, erupting in moments of crisis, often in destructive ways. Jung warned that ignoring the shadow only makes it stronger. Good does not become better by exaggeration, but worse, and a small evil becomes a big one through being disregarded and repressed, he wrote. The more we reject these aspects of ourselves, the more they manifest in unconscious, uncontrollable ways, through projections onto others, self-sabotage, or compulsive behaviors. True transformation does not come from repressing the shadow, but from integrating it, acknowledging its existence, and learning to wield it responsibly. And this is where the challenge lies. Individuation, the path to wholeness, is not a comfortable journey. It demands brutal honesty. It requires us to look in the mirror and confront the aspects of ourselves we most wish to ignore. It forces us to admit that we are not always who we think we are. It is a painful process, and few are willing to undertake it. But those who do find something extraordinary. They gain clarity. They gain self-mastery. They break free from unconscious patterns that have dictated their lives. They become the true authors of their own existence. And so, the question is, will you remain a passive passenger in your life, following a path set by forces you don't understand? Or will you take control, dive into the depths of your own psyche, and emerge as something greater? The choice is yours, but understand this. Avoiding the journey does not mean escaping its consequences. The unconscious will always exert its influence, whether you acknowledge it or not. You can either face it willingly or be dragged into it unprepared. So now you know the truth. You've seen the evidence. Your mind is not the rational, self-controlled pilot you believed it to be. It's a battlefield of unseen forces, and if you don't take command, they will control you forever. This isn't hypothetical. This isn't philosophy. This is happening inside you right now. Every time you've procrastinated on a dream, sabotaged a relationship, or repeated a destructive pattern, that was your unconscious running the show. And unless you intervene, it will keep happening. But here's the good news. You can break the cycle. Jung didn't just expose the problem. He gave us the solution. The path to true self-mastery isn't about suppressing your shadow or numbing yourself with distractions. It's about facing what you've been running from, integrating the fragmented pieces of your psyche, and finally stepping into the life you're meant to live. Your two paths forward. Right now, you have a choice, one that will define your future. Path number 1, do nothing. Ignore this. Close the video. Tell yourself, I'll deal with this later. But ask yourself, how's that been working so far? The patterns won't magically disappear. The shadow won't just vanish. It will keep resurfacing. In your anger, your addictions, your regrets, until you confront it. Path number 2. Take control. This is your moment. Right now, Not tomorrow, not when you're ready. Now, because the longer you wait, the deeper the patterns root themselves. But if you act today, if you commit to understanding your mind at this level, you can rewrite your destiny, your immediate action. Steps. This isn't just theory. Here's exactly what to do next. 1. Smash that like button. If this video resonated with you, if you felt that click of recognition, then like this video. Not for me, for you. It's a signal to yourself, I'm ready to face this. Plus, it helps the algorithm show this to others who need it. 2. Subscribe and turn on notifications. This isn't just another channel. This is your toolkit for psychological liberation. 3. Commit to one small step. Today, journal. Prompt. What's one behavior I keep repeating that hurts me? Where might this come from? Write for 5 minutes, no filter. Let me be brutally honest. Most people will ignore this. They'll scroll to the next video, numb themselves with distractions, and stay stuck in the same loops forever. But you're different. You're still here. That means something. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Right now, fate is whispering to you. Will you listen?